Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about medical astrology and the moon. And anyway, first off, as far as the moon goes, as far as body parts go, the moon corresponds and rules the stomach, the chest, breast area, left eye in males, right eye in females. Also, our emotions. I mean, I know that's not a body part, but it can give some emotional issues if it's strongly afflicted. And also food. And food, of course, I mean, food, again, is not a body proponent, I understand, but food can play a role in our health, and depending on the kind of food we're eating and whether we have, excuse me, depending on if our diet is consistent. If somebody has Uranus, say an adverse aspect to their moon, for example, even a conjunction may signify somebody that has a very erratic or sporadic type of eating schedule, or even their diet. Also, the moon is associated with retention of water and fluid in our systems, and also digestion. So, if somebody has, say, the moon, in their sixth house, say they have it like in Aquarius, for example, this could be, a person that really has maybe some issues with digestion and a very erratic and sporadic maybe digestion system, or if they have Saturn on it, there might be some limitations and restrictions in their ability to digest even. Uh, and now, if the moon, first up, I want to talk about the moon is afflicted as far as natally goes. Well, this could be connected with debilitations. I mean, there might be debilitations and illnesses that are associated with the planet. Now, I think one example that really comes to mind is legendary renowned singer Karen Carpenter, who, of course, was one of the two people in the Carpenters along with her brother. Now, she had a very sad tale. She died like around 32, 33 years old due to the anorexia. In her chart, she has the moon conjunct Pluto in Leo. And she died, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, of something like emetine toxicity. And of course, I mean, the fact that cardio is in it, it's something heart related. Leo is associated with the heart. Pluto in Leo by itself, though generational, can sometimes signify an ending or a passing that could be heart related. But she had this conjunct the moon, so it was something it was heart related, that was a result of her anorexia, and anorexia can be tied in with food restrictions. So she had Pluto conjunct the moon in Leo, and of course Pluto being death, she died as a result of this, of something that was food related, food restrictions. And the thing about it is the fact that it is in Leo, you're talking about something dramatic and something that obviously grabbed headlines and got a lot of notoriety, attention, and exposure. Now, also, too, when we're talking about the moon and the health, the physical body, and astrology, transits that involve the moon, of course, can play a role in one's health situation as well. I can remember back in this was at a time when I had transit from like May 1st, 1989 to around May 14th, 15th, 1989. I had transit Jupiter in Gemini conjunct my natal moon at this time, and this was a time. I mean, I was like over, like, it was like 205 pounds, which was like a very uncharacteristic for me at that time, when my average weight might have been around 180, 185 pounds. As many of you may know, Jupiter, though strongly benign and benevolent, is very paradoxical, could have a tendency to enlarge and expand. It can enlarge the waistline at times. When you have transit Jupiter could be about obesity in astrology. And when you have transit Jupiter conjunct your moon, well, the moon is, of course, associated with water retention. It could be a lot of water weight somebody may put on during the time of that transit. And I believe that that's a time where I likely did put on especially a lot of water weight at that time, and it was starting to get the battle, headed to the battle of the bulge, so to speak, and being in Gemini due to perhaps a variety of food at that time. Now, and keep in mind too, many of you may know I have a Taurus ascendant, so I still, I mean, I had just gotten out of transit Jupiter conjuncting my ascendant, which of course can give a propensity to put on weight. And you're talking about Taurus energy, which is just could be very indulgent energy and that love of sweets, and that could have been putting on some weight at that time as well. And of course, the ascendant is connected with the physical body. But anyway, also too, we have to look at in astrology that progressions that involve the moon may manifest in physical dilemmas, debilitations that are associated with that planet. Now, let's say somebody has they have in their progress chart, they have the moon in adverse aspect to Uranus. It could be something where they might be getting some nerve or some shocking or some tingling sensation. Could be some intermittent problems or some unusual issues with the chest, breast, or stomach area at this time. Keep in mind, again, the moon rules either the left or the right eye depending on gender. So another issue, as an example, could be some intermittent eye twitching that could be going on at that time. Too. So of course it's always important to look at the natal chart, transits and progressions that are involving the moon. And I mean, of course, something in the first or sixth house being involved could give a greater propensity toward these issues as well. So because of course the first house is associated with the physical body, and the sixth house can be about physical ailments and debilitations. Now, another thing that is going that as far as the moon goes, remember also synastry can play a role too, because there's people that can actually, of course, have a detrimental effect on one's physical situation and state. Now, if you keep in mind, let's say that somebody has their Chiron, say in synastry, there's a Chiron conjunct moon aspect. Well, the thing about it is this could go either way, because Chiron, I mean, is the wounded healer. Chiron can be about the infliction of wounds, but it could also be about healing of them as well. Now, let's say, again, going back to Chiron conjunct moon in synastry, the Chiron person may actually cause physical wounds to the moon person. It could be something, again, the moon being associated with the breast, chest area, the stomach area, or it could be, or it could actually be a person that might heal this person as well. It could be somebody, whether it's on a hospital team or a friend, might be dealing with, that might help this person in terms of recommendations and things that they can do, for example, to help them in those areas if they have any suffering or there's some debilitation with the chest or stomach area or something with digestion. The Chiron person could actually be the healer, and a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on other aspects in the points in their chart, and whether that person, the Chiron person, is more beneficial that way or more to the other person's detriment. Now, another thing too, I noticed sadly, where it seems like the moon can play a role as far as a negative way in a person's life, and for example, their own life and death issues. When, for example, when Regis Philbin passed away, if I remember right, transit moon was by his south node. Now, the thing about it is, when you're talking about the south node being involved in transits in astrology, it can reflect what we're going away from. Now, the moon astrology can be, some people may see it as the soul or the spirit, and when that is in contact with the south node, in some instances, it can signify that departure of that spirit and soul. It could sometimes, which of course is when you're talking about something perilous, when the person passes. So those are some ways that this can manifest and pan out as far as the moon goes in medical astrology. And remember that the moon, I mean, even though I talked about body parts and body components with it, it's also about our emotions. So some of the strong afflicted moon may at times have some kind of emotional issues that they may be dealing with. So those are say if they have the moon in adverse aspect to their Mars in their natal chart, it could be somebody that has a lot of maybe some anger issues, and if there's some other things that reaffirm this, say if Mars is adverse Uranus in their chart, that could be like an intermittent explosive disorder type of situation. So anyway, people, That'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard signs. Stay well.